The movement was begun by a scientist who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered.
They want their weapon.
Look out for Charlie.
I want that son of a bitch dead. I want him dead.
This is the last video that I'm going to do about this particular guy, because I've done all I can do, and if he doesn't realize that he's not schizophrenic by now, then the cognitive dissonance is strong in some, especially when they've been raised to be true believers in authority figures and authority in general. And you know, I don't know what he believes, but I'm not going to spend any more time on it. But I did find some audio recently and put it in the bin of stuff that I want to go over. And this is from one of his videos where he was basically having what he considered a schizophrenic episode. He decided to video it while this was going on and then uploaded it to his YouTube. He goes by like Schizo Win Through Life or something like that. And he was a younger guy when he did it, and now he's a little bit older. This was a few years ago. But I was going through the audio, and I noticed something in the not quite ultrasonic section, but in the tinnitus section and in some of the lower frequencies, and I wanted to kind of mesh those together. I've already done a video or two on this guy. Anyway, let's just get right to it. For one, it's really important to pay attention to the fact that this guy says that one of the voices tells him to turn off the recording software. I brought this up in the first one, I think, but let's go over it real quick, just so it's there for anybody new.
Telling me to turn off there's one voice, it's a man, telling me to turn off the recording software and stop recording.
See, that's important for what I'm going to show you. It's very important. In this clip, he says, "I don't know," and then he stops like he's listening to something. And then after that,
hello?
He says hello, like he's like someone's there. He's hearing something in the room. Now I left the hello and the
I don't know
and the I don't know totally as it was originally. I just boosted it up. I'm going to play it for you. And if this isn't enough evidence for him or anybody else, I don't know what is. Now remember, they were telling him to turn off the recording software. Alright? Let's go.
I don't know.
Now there's a voice there. A male voice. Then there's a whispery voice that follows that. Then there's random voices, but in the video he keeps complaining that he's hearing this phone or something ring. And here it is. Here's what he's hearing. So you can hear that after I've worked with the audio. This is what he's hearing over and over. And it doesn't matter whether it's exactly what he's hearing or not. The frequency's heterodyne. When you understand this sound weapon and how it works, the frequency's heterodyne. And I wonder how many younger people have been diagnosed with a mental illness that is completely and totally fabricated by technology. So let's listen to this phone ring a couple times. I'll loop it. And there's voices behind it. Now, there's an important part coming up. Let's hear it.
Hello?
He says hello.
Hello?
But here. Okay, they told him to shut off the recording software. And here, a whispery type voice says, "We're leaving evidence." I'm going to loop it. It's clearer than ever. So this part is leaving, because sometimes the stuff will break up and the voice will change mid-sentence. And that's evidence. Clear as hell. Let me loop it. It blows my mind if this guy has seen any of my videos and he still believes that he's schizophrenic. I mean, this was a young guy when this started. A kid, basically. No offense to you, dude. You know, and he had these voices telling him that he was a Russian spy or Russian spies are after him. And all the typical stuff that quote-unquote TIs are told. People that are targeted with RF weapons. But he's been diagnosed schizophrenic, clearly by a doctor. So he believes he's schizophrenic. But here's a voice after they told him to shut off the recorder saying, "We are leaving evidence." And then this other voice says something like, "We have to," or something. So the guy's hearing voices, and there are voices in the room, in the recording. They're there. And he says hello, like he's hearing something.
Hello? Hello?
But again, there's this first voice.
No.
It sounds like it gets me hard, but I have no idea what he's really saying. Then the voice whispers. Then that phone ringing sound. And then it says, "We're leaving evidence." Then this voice.
Hello?
And then that's it. So the evidence is there. The evidence that they left. Because they know that every recording leaves evidence. Doesn't matter whether you can hear it or not on playback. It is there. It is completely and totally there. And they know this. This voice here says, "Got you, I got you. Got you, I got you." And you can almost hear the hum that it is being carried on. So let's check it out.
I'm sorry, I need to get to the point.
Right there in the background, it sounds like a voice says, "I got you." But it's right there. There's a voice right there before he reacts.
Oh God, that freaking! I heard a voice all of a sudden just yell, "I got you!" and then it made me jump.
What we're hearing is not exactly what he's hearing, because it reverberates off the sinus cavity in the inner ear, and it's going to sound different than what we're catching. It is dialable, if you want to call it that. It's very hard to dial some of these in. It's like a combination lock, like a tumbler lock, like a combination lock. So it's there. The first piece is the best piece. You can clearly hear "We are leaving evidence," as well as the other voices. And that's really all you need. The guy's hearing voices in the room. There are voices there in the recording, flat out, talking about evidence, talking about other things. It is bullshit. And it's bullshit that these people are being fooled. And it sucks. And you can show people, but the cognitive dissonance is strong with some of these people, man. I'm telling you. Like, they just can't swallow it. It's really fucked up. Alright, let me play you a different version of that.
I'm sorry, I need to get...
Hear that whistling? It's just like the phone ringing. It's a different version of it. I found that phone sound, the first one, and this one about 15 times in the recording alone.
Oh. Oh, God.
See, that was loud and it scared him.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
See, this is bullshit, man. This is total and complete bullshit. It is so anger-inducing. So if he doesn't get it now, I hope that someday he does get it, so he doesn't waste his entire life believing that he's schizophrenic. He's not schizophrenic. He's not anywhere close to schizophrenic. And this is riding on noise all around you, and it's pulsed. Just a quick example of this. I was recording earlier tonight, doing some tests, and I drove to the store and left the recorder on while I was at the store. Now you're going to hear my car. I parked my car right next to my house, and you're going to hear my car start to back up, and then you'll hear it drive down the road, begin to drive down the road in first gear, mind you. So let's check it out. Now if you listen to that, it's the sound of a car and a voice riding on it at the same time. Now listen to this. This is where I start winding out first gear. It goes up just like musical notes, and you can literally hear the voice riding on it. That is totally and completely riding on noise. Now, I've explained to many people, personally and in my videos, that this is like a tumbler lock. When you're decoding these frequencies and figuring it out, it is just like picking a lock. In this sense, that you have to get the frequencies to line up in the correct slot. And once you get the correct frequencies, you will begin to get the V2K. And this is where the technicality of this comes in. And a lot of people will say, really simple things like, you could clean that up more. Well, you don't realize what I'm doing with the audio when you say you could clean that up more, because it's not what you think it is. I'm not just finding a voice in the recording and then leaving it with this noise around it. There's a technique to it, and it is totally and completely different than what you're thinking. So what I mean by tumbler lock is this. This is an example of the V2K signal. If you look over here to the right, these are the frequencies. So if you look at where the lines are, let's say this is 200, just for an example, let's say that this is 200 to 300 hertz, and then 300 to 400 hertz, and 400 to 500 hertz. They're not. They're oddballed on purpose, so it's very hard to decode. But if you look from 200 to 300 hertz, the frequencies are completely different at 2 to 300 than they are 3 to 400. Look at them. They do not line up. They don't add up. And the same thing from 4 to 500, 5 to 600, and all the way down and all the way up to, 20,000 hertz or 20 kilohertz. They are totally different. They don't line up. And when they do line up, they just line up for a second, like this one here. But if you look up above, those frequencies are different sound than these frequencies. It is a different sound. So you're taking these strips and you are finding the combination lock to them. So let's say 100 to 200 might line up with 400 to 500. You need to get rid of the ones in between, because that's added noise, and this is how they get people to hear different things in different areas, in different homes, in different people. It is like a tumbler lock. These are all different frequencies. Look over here. All of this is different. So you can't just add noise reduction to it and clean it up, because when you do, you're going to delete a specific set of frequencies that might bring the wrong frequencies up. It is total and complete trickery on their part to do this. It's genius, actually. But they didn't invent it. Lastly, what I want to talk about is Mark Lanigan, and something that I found on the web. And it's very interesting, and it has a lot to do with this channel and what we're dealing with. And I need Mark Lanigan's wife to contact me, because I have some questions for her. I'm not going to ask her to ask you what mic you used on the kick drum of fucking Sweet Oblivion, or I'm not going to ask you about the amps that Connor used on Buzz Factory, or ask you about some sound that was acquired on Invisible Lantern. I honestly have some questions for your wife, and I realize that you guys are busy, but this is very important. So, this interviewer asked this stupid question: are you at least enjoying Netflix like the rest of us? And Lanigan answers, I could if my wife hadn't torn all the big screen TVs out of our house when she found a face scan of herself on the screen behind the screen of one of her TVs, which are made in China, of course. She actually found a face scan of her head with a log to see how many decibels her ears could take, how thick was her head, and any computer or television has a screen behind the screen. This is stuff that I've just come to find out, he says. And she's like a wizard at getting past codes and figuring out how to make code into text. It's just a natural ability she has. So, scared the shit out of her, and she said, I don't want any of these TVs in my house. And we had 3 of them, in the bedroom, in the spare room, in the front room. And now we have none, and I don't miss them. So, he's telling this story, and I went, wow, this has everything to do with what we discuss on this channel. So I really, really need to talk to your wife, dude. Even if it takes 5 to 20 minutes, if I could just get 20 minutes with her, that would be awesome. I just want to ask her questions about this. I figured maybe if I name this video Mark Lanigan's a dick or something like that, that'll get his attention. I get it. So this is kind of big news to me, and it should be big news to you, and I think that covers it. Look out for Charlie.